Welcome to Surf Dudes with Attitude, Season 3. This is Pete from New York City. How's everybody doing? Welcome back.
I'm great. I'm George Howell from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and with us we have James. You can introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm James Oliva, and I'm from Brooklyn.
It's true. James, why aren't we in the same room? It would just make way more sense for us.
Yeah, it would, except for going 2 geographical miles in New York City is a whole goddamn thing.
And
you
ever
know
since
that.
you lost the studio space when Zach moved, it just hasn't been the same.
Oh, yeah. I miss Zach.
Who's that?
I think I'm sick of Queens Air Shore in New York City. Everybody is like, I personally live in Astoria, if anybody knows that, but everyone's like, I don't want to go to Astoria. They think it's so far, but it's actually closer to the city than Brooklyn is, depending where in the city you are. But still,
Yeah,
if you're not taking the train.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Yeah, they're like, geographically, it's not that far, but the actual process to get there by any means in New York City is just a goddamn hassle. I love Astoria. I love Long Island City. And I agree with you. That, to me, that's the prime real estate because you're removed from Manhattan. But if you want to get into Manhattan, it's like 20 minutes max.
That's true. I've heard that it's like this because supposedly there was such gang beef back in the day. They're like, well, we can't have a train between Queens and Brooklyn. Like, it's just going to get obliterated somewhere in Greenpoint. So, but that's where we are. But James, you were here at one point. We watched an episode of Dinosaurs together last season. We did a really great side project with that. And so we wanted you to come back. We wanted you to experience more of California Dreams. You were practically begging for it after we did our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out, or our Shells tour together.
Full disclosure, you told me this was going to be a Severance podcast, but, I'm here, so we might as well just do it. And, look, I don't know how quickly you want to get into it, but I have thoughts on this. And I think, Pete, you might be pleasantly surprised.
I mean, I have not heard anything of what James is going to say right now. So I wanted to go in completely blind. So everybody, thank you for listening to the Billions podcast that we're going to be talking about, which for a while I got Severance, Succession, and Billions. I thought they were all the same show for a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of are in some ways, yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we are back here at Surf Dudes with Attitude. We had an actual break between season 2 and 3. If you remember, season 1 and 2 was kind of breakneck speed, but we took a break. We regrouped a little bit, but I was super anxious to see how the gang was going to kind of pull it together. We had some cast changes, and we gave James some homework. I'm like, James, at least watch the last episode of the last season so you can be caught up.
So before we run into it, let's talk about some changes with our show. We're no longer doing extra content. Just right now, we're trying to focus on the main show. And I don't know, anything else that we need to get into with that?
Oh, I mean, I kind of forgot that part. We're still going to be putting out videos. We're going to try to put out some frequent videos on Instagram and YouTube Shorts. But this is going to be the main feed, wherever you get your podcast from. That's going to be the most important one. And I don't know, we're still telling people to, talk to their friends about the show. Give us a rating on iTunes. Supposedly in 2025 still helps the show. Is that correct, George? I've heard
that is
other
correct,
podcasts begging for that. We're not going to get a Stamps.com sponsorship unless people actually start regaling other people about how hilarious the show is. We should talk about what's going on. And I mean, this is going to air later, but California Dreams has announced that they're doing another reunion show in Nashville. We aren't available to go to it, but we hope it went well because this came out after, right? And supposedly they got a couple others on the books. So I don't know. Do you think our listeners want to see us go to one of these shows?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, if there was ever something we should do for the show, it's probably actually go see the band that we keep talking about.
We should probably have their people call our people.
Yes.
And, to be fair, I do feel like I need to give some money to this show at this point. I've consumed it entirely for free. I haven't had to pay for anything. So the least they can have is, my $5 door ticket.
$5? Dude, when I saw them, it was $100 door ticket.
You are shitting me.
VIP.
You
I'm
are
not
shitting me.
No, that's New York pricing. I don't know. George, do you know how much the Nashville show is going for? If you could look that up.
I think it's 45 regular and 65 or 75 VIP, but I'm just pulling that off the top
New
of my
York
head.
was straight 100 for just the show. No meeting or whatever. So
no drinks. You didn't get a drink ticket.
I think it was like I want to say it was like $250 for like the all day thing with the meet and greet.
Man.
And you could watch them rehearse for the show. So that's something. I will say that I missed you guys. It was actually really nice to kind of get my little note app out and watch the third season, the first episode of it. Because honestly, it felt like a whole new show.
It is entirely new, especially with the theme music and the new opening. It is
Different.
completely different.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it. I don't know, James. We kind of have a catchphrase here. If you wanna take us away, do you remember what it is?
I don't know. What is it?
Based on a couple of the episodes you've seen, former member of the cast Matt Garrison used to say, "Let's do it" right before a song. So when we say, "Are you ready to do this?" To do this awesome show called Surf Dudes with Attitude, where you can get a hold of us at surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com. We should probably come up with a new catchphrase, but until then,
let's do it.
So you promised me that you were going to hit me with something hardcore.
I think just like at the start of every new season of every show, maybe we should do a little recap, at least of like the last episode. That's about as far into season 2 in reverse that I went. But just before we even get into season 3, let's talk about. As I watch this show, I just think like how much fun reality would be if everything was 30-minute stories that had no connection to each other. Like how much easier would life be if that is all it was, you know?
And no, you're right. Nothing is super episodic. It's like a monster of the week every single time you're going to Pacific Palisades High or whatever the fuck high school they go to.
And, you know, I guess to be fair, that was definitely how sitcoms were back then in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like there isn't anything like super obscure about that. But like the lack of continuity really fucked me up.
Astonishing.
Watching the season 2 finale going into season 3, because you're right. Because
can you give me a quick recap of what happened? I remember it's a prom episode, but it's fresh eyes for you.
It's a prom here. Hang on. I actually
it's literally a prom episode. It's called Indecent Promposal, if I'm not mistaken.
This is our little last season on California Dreams. Here, I'm going to share the screen here so we can kind of
Lost.
Yeah, exactly. Season 2, episode 18, California Dreams.
Okay.
So, opens up with our favorite unhinged celebrity, Tiffany. This guy who I've never seen before.
Okay, that's Mookie. We think he's about 35 years old.
Yeah, that's okay. I was going to say that there's a couple guys in this and one in season 3's first episode that they're clearly 40-year-old men. They're not high school teenagers. However, I will say this. I don't believe that these two are high schoolers either. You know, like they
none of them are, but Mookie really stretches the limits of my really, believability here.
They're really pushing it. Yeah, they're really pushing it. Anyway, so he got these flowers. The flowers came from a guy that she used to like help get better at a he like hurt himself, and she was like helping him rehab or something. And he has like a crush on her. And everyone's going to prom. Everyone's kind of like pairing off, right? But
Jake doesn't want to go to prom.
He doesn't want to go to prom.
So they come with this idea. She's going to go with this guy. Jake's out of character for Jake, somewhat cool with it. And then there's a whole side plot with the California Dreams. They are going to play the prom, and then they don't, and then they end up playing the after party, right? I'm speed running the episode.
Yeah. Effectively, yeah. And I guess let me get to the crucial stuff here. So, right, the guy that was sending her the roses and was like crushing on her, and that's going to take her to prom, sends her this really horrible dress. Let me see if I can find the dress because it's horrendous. That looks like Beetlejuice's bride. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so obnoxious for a prom, completely unnecessary. Anyways, this guy's super rich and he's buying her all this stuff and he's trying to get her to prom and Jake's cool with it. Anyways, they go to the prom and they kind of sneak off with each other and whoopsie daisies, they kiss, but oh no, Jake was there. I'm trying to get to it.
Jake finally comes to his senses and he comes to the prom. He ends up seeing them kiss. He's really mad about it, but he's only going to the prom not because he says, I trust you, Tiffany. He's like, you're mine and I'm going to be a misogynistic dick. So he sees them kiss. He loses his shit. And then they break up. Well, we see the first outside shot ever and they break up. And George brought this up earlier, but they are no longer a couple. They play this last song at Sharky's and they're
It's a
no
super
longer a couple.
depressing song.
Yeah. So this is prom. This means that this is the end of the school year, right? That's what prom is. It's the end of the school year, right? Okay. So we are going to assume that this is taking place in the summer after that has happened. Okay. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we're thinking that maybe, I'm pretty sure this is the summer. I have something in my notes that says this might be the summer, but because it's the summer, we have some time to play with. Oh, wait, it's not the summer. They're in fucking school, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It would more than likely be the next school year. That's also the most relatable.
Right. I'm going to cut that out. I'm an idiot, of course. Like half the fucking episodes in school.
Please
right.
do.
Okay. But mere months have passed was my point, right? Since we're going to say that the prom episode happened in May, and we're going to start this new season.
But to 16-year-olds that look like 35-year-olds, time, it just passes differently,
It's true. Okay, so this episode is called The Unforgiven. Okay, I was actually wondering why it was called that. I sort of get the nonlinear line they were going for. It came out on September 10th, 1994, so we're well into the 1994 year. Everybody does look a year older, but as you went to high school, when you came back in September, people did look fucking different. It was a thing. And Sly looks like 10 years older at this point. His hair has grown out immensely. And he's even more ripped than he was in that first two seasons. It's alarming.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
So let's talk about the intro because it hits you right away.
Yeah,
it's different.
Intro's very different. A lot of new faces. Okay.
Yes.
A lot of new faces. They open up on a new set, so a lot of new places, a lot of new faces, a lot of new places. And all
new
of a
voices
sudden,
too. That first fucking voice, Surf Dudes with Attitude.
Yeah, no,
it's not the same one.
And look, this is where my opinions might surprise you. I feel like season 3, episode 1 is a whole new show. It's the show that they were figuring out the first 2 seasons. It immediately looks like that. The cast, how everyone is dressed, the set, like from the immediate onset of this episode, I feel like maybe they figured out the formula this year. Okay. Or at least were like seasons 1 and 2 were like some deep 90s, even in just like the fashion and stuff. It was like tail end of the 80s, 90s, right?
Right, 92. Yeah.
This looks like 90s. This looks contemporary. And I have to say, like, I was kind of impressed.
But the extreme outlier here is the entire season 2 intro was such a regression by at least half a decade, because the season 1 intro is cheesy, but at least it looked of its time. The season 2 one, completely green screen and them like acting like extras on a Gidget movie, was ridiculous. And it did not match what we were doing at all. We asked J. Anthony Frankie when he was on here about it, like because it was so ridiculous. The third one, they have course corrected a little bit and we see new characters. We hear a new voice because I guess George might be able to tell us. It sounded like Matt was actually singing in those first 2 seasons because they completely changed it to whoever the voice of Mark was supposed to be. We see Mark is new, Aaron Jackson, and then we see Diana Uribe, probably saying that wrong. She's a Colombian actress playing Lorena. So we have 2 new characters that we're going to have to dissect. So Mark is definitely a fill-in for Matt Garrison, right? He's got that lovable wussy energy that we like, and Lorena, she's a wild card. We don't know anything about her yet. We don't know where she fits in because she's definitely not in the band.
Yeah, that part was very confusing. I'll just say this: like, I like where season 3 is starting at. I'm just so confused as to how we got from season 2, episode 18. I feel like there's a whole season of the show that we're missing here to get us to
true.
this point.
I mean, you can't have it both ways. You said like they finally figured out the trajectory that they want to go on, and that's what it is. But it does seem like a lot of scenes are missing.
Yeah.
It sucks that Jenny, who I think provided less for the band, got a whole send-off episode that was a part of the plot, and it was maybe referenced once or twice after that. But Matt, who gave us everything, was in every single episode for the first 2 seasons, does not get one. And there's no explanation about why he's left. They just say very quickly, as they're in this new loft, the banging fucking loft that has great juggling ceilings. They're just like, since Garrison moved away, Jake says that, and then Tony kind of flippantly says who are you talking about? You know, like, and then I think Kelly was the only one, Kelly was the only one. Damn it. Tiffany was the only one that was like, I miss Matt, right? But that's it. It was like 3 lines dedicated, in case for fucking 11-year-old me, who's like, where the fuck is he?
Well, and it's like he was the main guy. Like I would understand if he was just like one of the background guys, if he wasn't literally the main character. But I just
he was the bass player of the band. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, right. That you completely interchangeable. But like the lead singer and guitar player.
The
songwriter. It's literally the face of the band,
Like, this has happened before, and George can find us some great examples of bands that, like, the lead, like, the main dude leaves in the band, and then, like, they continue on without him. So, conceivably, they're just playing all of Matt's songs. They're playing the song that he wrote about breaking up with Randy Joe. Like, they're going to just continue that song and play it in perpetuity. So, they're on the hunt. This band is on the hunt. They need to find a replacement.
Desperate need.
They say they've been looking for a month. So we don't know. We're going to assume this is the summer going into the fall. That they need not only a new guitar, they need an entire new front man. Because Jake's not going to step up to the plate, Yeah,
he's way too edgy and cool.
He is the Kirk Hammett of this band. All right. As much as like the show tries to make him be like the face, the cool rock star in this band, like he's like, just let me play my solo and I'm good. I don't want to get in a fight with fucking James or Lars, Anyway, somehow Sly has lost all of their equipment. Did you follow this narrative? They were at a practice space after
Matt
rented
moved. They rented a space and.
Right. He needs to pay $500 to get the
miscalculated what he owed, and the guy just basically was like, you're not getting your equipment back until you pay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I just don't understand how they would trust him with their equipment. I don't know. Like, you give somebody enough rope to hang themselves. I feel like he's hung himself a million times.
Yeah, this is like the Screech thing. I don't know. I mean, Sly gets some shows. That is his value to both the show and to the band. So I honestly don't understand why they hang out with him otherwise. He fucks everything up. But so this whole episode, they need $500, which is like the magic number in teen sitcom land. If you have $500, you can save a restaurant. You can stop your parents' house foreclosure. You can get your dog back from the pound. Or in this case, you can get your equipment back.
Well, hey, look, in the 90s, $500 was basically $1 million.
Okay. George, behind the scenes there, they said something like, the last time Matt booked us a gig and we played without a commitment was a disaster. Now, that was the only other mention of Matt. I don't know what episode that they're referring to. I don't know if anybody does. Maybe if some of our listeners know, but I feel like that's an episode we probably talked about, that they played a show without instruments or had to borrow it or something like that.
Maybe they were just like literally throwing something in there. Like another story that we never fleshed out, but it's just a way for us to mention Matt.
Oh, it's a part of that missing half season. That
we didn't get to watch. That would basically explain all this context.
Oh, that's it. So the other thread basically is that like, what is this loft? Who the fuck lives here? And out we see Lorena, and then we see in this conversation that Sam is living there, and Sam is living there because if the Garrisons move away, Sam is homeless. So nobody. Supposedly she knows Lorena. and Lorena is going to let them use her loft. I guess to live something. Is this nearby? Because we found out Sly's the neighbor of the Garrisons. So the Garrisons did not take Sly wherever the fuck they were moving to. I just wanted some backstory about where the fuck he was, you know?
Yeah, it's very confusing. I don't know if we're going to get, if we didn't get closure on the next episode, I don't know if we'll ever get closure. We'll just,
I guarantee right now, they are never going to mention Matt Garrison again.
Yeah, dude, we're not, there's going to be no explanation.
Yeah, but they mentioned Jenny.
So look,
they were still in the house.
Look.
Okay. I'm really hot under the collar about this.
I mean, me too. I honestly was asking myself, why would they do that? For way longer than I should have been after I stopped watching both of these things in succession. But this is a new show. And instead of just completely pretending like nothing exists, I think they're doing their best to kind of break away from the old, you know, like the George was saying it in the chat, but like just kind of ripping off Saved by the Bell. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
the very tacky early 90s fluorescent colors and shapes overlaid, you know, like just like the kitschy stuff from that time. So I feel like this is just a new show. You see what I mean? It's like this was the easiest and most effective way for them to be like, here's what we had, here's what we are now, and here's this very terrible bridge between the two, but we're just going to make it work.
It's like it's a shanty bridge.
Yeah, seriously.
With ropes.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm gonna get over it. As a kid, I got over it, and we're just full throttle.
Did you though?
No, apparently I started this podcast because I never got over it. So before we move on, I did say quickly, he's like, you know, Lorena comes up and she's like, oh, my friend's throwing a party. She only has $500 budget. Great, there's that. But Sly's like, we got a week to learn new songs. So does that mean they're not going to play Matt's songs anymore? Do you think Matt is like, I'll sue you if you do that?
We can only assume, because if these children are that organized as they appear to be in the show, they're definitely fighting over percentage.
Organized? They're fucking studio space delinquents. Okay, they're not organized.
Listen, dude, they carry themselves as if they're making this their job. Okay, they're still in school for now, but they're doing
for
this.
Now,
there's
going to be 3, including this season, 3 more seasons of them in school.
Well,
we don't know how old they are.
They should probably have done better in school, but that's
they
beside the
they were
point.
going to be 17 forever. That means the next 3 seasons is going to be 1 year. Do you realize that? Wait, it's going to be a crazy fucking year.
I am sure it won't.
Are you ready for that?
I'm sure the continuity will not add up to what it should in real time.
I love that. So we're going to go to Sharky's. I don't know about you. The floor plan looks a little different at Sharky's. I know it's the same place, but usually the tables are a little more in the center. Just noticed that. I'm the only one ever that probably brought this up. I did like this. I think. So anyway, Sly is like, I got somebody for your band. Okay? I'm finally going to do something for your band that's not fucking everything up. My cousin's moving to town. We don't know why his cousin's moving to town. He says his name's Mark, and he was at Carnegie Hall, and he's like a musical prodigy. And we're going to talk about Mark's musical prowess. Don't worry. But I love the line that Tony was called Sly, an uncultured onion head. That's it. That's it.
Hey, he's grown up a lot, you dillweed.
I thought they were going to go dildo there, but not.
No way they were going to do that.
And again, Lorena later in the episode calls him ferret face, so she already hates Sly as well. I don't know if Sly's like aggressively hitting on her yet, but that's going to come. So again, they're calling Sly rodential. And I don't think Michael Cade has a rodent face. I don't know where this is coming from. Does it mean he's just like a shitty little rat person that cares about money?
He's kind of mousy, but yeah, I honestly feel like that's the connotation there. He's just a rat.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Just so at one point they're like, yeah, whatever. Nobody from your bloodline, Sly, is getting anywhere near this band. Like they're just so adamantly against it. And then they're like, all right, guys, we're going to go to the beach. Everybody gets up. Nobody is in beach clothes. And it really upset me. Okay. I understand Jake never taking off. Like, Jake swims in his leather jacket, I'm sure. But
he's
nobody
committed
else.
to grunge.
They didn't even. They're going to the beach. We don't know. This is during school? Is this during lunch break? We don't know.
Dude, when you live by the beach, it doesn't matter.
So is this early morning?
It doesn't matter.
Need to know. It does.
If every day is by the beach, it doesn't matter, man.
We have, I think, fully canceled out the idea that they are homeschooled. They're out of school. But this is a hybrid school. The amount of time that they take,
It's
Tony has to work.
California.
Do you think Tony still works at Sharky's? You're not as well versed at the show, but Tony was an adamant worker. He was almost given like the general manager keys at one point to Sharky's. I don't know if he still works there.
It's California. He probably had some like hippie work thing with his school
With
where he
their
like
woke
got
ass
school.
child labor laws over there. Yes,
Exactly.
For sure.
Yes, they're woke ass child labor laws, letting the children work earlier, like just like every child wants to.
So we're gonna go to the school. I guess they're in school. We don't know if it's the same day. There's what are they? They're all saying something to each other.
They have the nightmare about it being his brother.
Yeah, but even before that, I looked this up. I'm sorry. Sam says "wo ye," when it actually the pronunciation in Mandarin should be "wo ye she." That's all. What is that? I'm sorry. I should have provided some context for that, but I didn't. So I have no idea why I wrote. I don't know if your face is frozen on the screen or you're just like in disbelief that I'm
in disbelief. I'm in disbelief.
Okay, so I'm going to cut that up.
Maybe that's a regional dialect. You don't know that.
I looked up. It was different in Cantonese as well. So I don't know. So let's go back to what you're saying. They all, for some reason, equally have a nightmare about this cousin of Sly, who they don't know what looks like yet, joining the band. Do you want to go over these nightmares one by one?
I think we need to take apart the like remote viewing aspect of this. All of them go home and have a variation of the same.
Is this like an Inception shared dreaming scenario?
What's going on here?
Since I've never seen when they do one.
What's going on here?
One nightmare after another. Like, I've never seen it in that quick of succession.
But that was fun.
None of them. None of these nightmares are good.
Look, I can tell you this much. If I had a band, and this fucking guy showed up, he was getting added to the band.
Whose nightmare was that? Was that Jake's?
I think
was that the first one? No, Jake's was the last.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say, as you're looking this up, I looked up where Tony's shirt was from, and I could not find it for my life.
Well, again, it's probably just modeled after whatever fashion existed at that time, but in something that they didn't have to like pay.
It's like
brand.
Street Savage on the side or something, so I looked it up. But it's a shirt that says parties.
How did you see that?
Dude, I zoomed in on it. And
you hit enhance?
I did enhance it
a
bunch of times.
Yeah,
and I couldn't find it. But it just it says parties, and it looks like there's a bunch of pills there. Okay, so anyway.
Jelly beans.
That looks like party pills to me.
Anyways, they have these hilarious nightmares where he takes various forms.
God bless Michael Cade. He's actually like bringing it. And the compliment I will give is that like he understands like he's now doing more of the heavy lifting now that like we're bringing in two new characters. And so he gets the joke, I think. And he's doing a lot of like physical comedy in this episode.
Yeah, he really showcased his dynamic ability.
Anyway, all four of these nightmares, they're terrible. They don't like nobody wants a member of the Sly and the Family Stone to join the band. Right?
But then fortunately, as they're walking away, they all kind of shudder. They shudder at that thought and then walk away. And as they're walking away, they hear the sultry tunes of classical music coming from the music
I love
room.
this royalty-free tune that they can play.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
Moonlight Sonata on the piano.
And then that royalty-free 50s rock and roll riff that he plays
it's
right after
the most generic
100%.
Yeah, ever heard. And then later he's like, oh, just made that.
That little thing, that's what I do. I make it up.
It's basically 12-bar blues. I'm like, you made that up? You and Leadbelly? Great.
That the kid's addicted to heroin already. You know what I mean?
Anyway, Mark, his introduction, not great. He kicks the stool out. He starts rock and rolling because they were like, oh no, if you can only play classical, that sucks. And I've been there. I have had to audition many cellists for my band, and I have that same feeling of like, can they fucking rock? You know, and like, I guess this is their version of rock since this band loves, you know, Tom Petty and U2. So like, their version is a lower bar than maybe the rest of us. So anyway, Mark is awesome. I think it was Jake is like, that's the most talented musician I have ever seen. And they ask him if he wants to join the band. He's like, no, like I'll never be a part of a band that has Sly involved in any capacity. And at that point, I'd be like, great, Sly's fired. Like we need somebody so bad right now. We have a week because Sly set us up with this show, and now we have to do this.
Yeah, it was. What am I trying to say here? I don't understand why Sly is involved. Like it's just problems. Like, and this one,
baby.
like
That's
some of the
what
other
it's
problems, they're just like happy little issues, you know, miscommunications and, you know, getting them a bad show. Like those are things we can excuse because it's like reasonable behavior. This one is so strange. They can't get the guy to join the band because when Sly was a kid, he embarrassed him at a piano recital he was playing at Carnegie Hall. And it traumatized Mark so bad
I got stopped
that it ruined his entire life.
Just the fact he's playing, what song is it? It's like the William Tell Overture, is that right?
What? Sure.
It's basically like Coming Around the Mountain, Here She Comes. Like you're playing that at Carnegie Hall. Like that is not a difficult song to play.
Yeah,
maybe
but
for your age it is, but
yeah,
even
right.
at 12 years old, at 4 years old, there's like crazy fucking like
now, but in the 90s, people didn't have YouTube. All right, little kids couldn't figure out how to play Meshuggah's Bleed on their drum set before they could, you know, drive a car. That didn't exist.
The bar was set a lot lower.
We missed our
window.
It was a simpler time. Okay, everything was just a little bit simpler. I just think it's just hilarious. Like, of all the things that Sly has gotten them into, or like problems that Sly has created for them, this one is the dumbest. Like, it's
but it happened like how long are we thinking? It happened like 6, 7, 8 years in the making.
Max a decade. Yeah. I think he maybe even says it at some point 11 years ago.
Like, what did he say? It was like 12 years old or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're playing anything. If you're a little old, you're 11 years old, like you should be playing fucking Tchaikovsky.
And
at least, right?
what did Sly specifically do? Like he
because it keeps. That's the joke. He keeps building. He doesn't. He yells "Hi Ho Silver" at one point.
That's right.
But then he gets up on stage and he actually like starts doing the dance and stuff, which is so extra and unbelievable. But that is where this is a child's show. I don't know why we're talking about it as grown men, but like it is a child's show and they do this thing called comedy and we're just going to run with it, guys. You connect the dots whether it works or not. But we go into the hallway and they're upset with Sly and they're like, Sly, this is where they find out what he did. But I want to at least give credit. So we have these things that you're going to be familiar with now, James, called LPEs, which are laughs per episode. And there's not a lot, but it's a genuine laugh that you have to admit to if something actually worked. And there was a lot, and it usually comes from Sly for me. And Sly's like a fucking scumbag on the show as far as like how he treats women, but he has the best delivery out of anybody on the show. And they're like, what did you do to Mark? And he's like, I don't know why he hates me. A lot of people do.
Yeah, how delightfully self-aware, you know?
So my only other question about this scene, is this still between classes? How long do they have between classes? Or are they just chilling after
It might be end of school. Yeah, you know, just hanging around.
That doesn't happen.
Yes, it does. I mean, back then it did, yeah.
Back in the 90s, before Columbine, this happened?
Yeah,
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Before all of that shit started happening, it was like that. They'd have the music room open and somebody might be playing piano in it at the end of school.
That's true. Like the deadbeat parents would have to show up at like later when they actually got off work.
Or not at all.
So we are going back to Sharky's, and Tony and Jake have concocted this idea to snare Mark into wanting to be in the band. A little like reverse psychology.
A ruse.
A ruse. They're going to dupe him into joining the band, which I've tried to do. It does not work. So Jake is giving Tony this song, and Tony's like, I don't like it. So we're supposed to believe that Tony's looking at this sheet music like he's goddamn Brahms, and he's like, nope, I'm not into it. I'm the drummer. I can do this. And then he hands it to Mark. And Mark is like, I took a couple lines where I wrote down, he's like, he looks at it for maybe all of 4.5 seconds, and he's like, it's cool how you bridge to the solo here. And then, if you want to make it really interesting, take the verse up a half a step. James, we know what modulation is. It's when you change the key of a song, right? That would be some Danny Elfman shit to take the verse a half step up. Not even a whole step. You're just doing a half step up.
It's very show tunesy.
But a half step, that's odd. That's a lot of extra work when you could just be repeating the verse. That's all. So.
Well, yeah, but you're not a child prodigy.
I'm having my doubts whether Mark is a child prodigy either.
Were you playing on the Carnegie Hall stage at any point when you were a kid?
I didn't. And Mark again reiterates that, like, while he is a prodigy of Carnegie Hall, he doesn't want to do this. And they're like, come on, man. We know you want to. We're going to give you some exposure therapy and you're going to play for us, basically, right? This is such a nonsensical scene that follows next.
He's
that
suffering.
Would not happen.
He's suffering from imposter
PTSD.
syndrome. Exactly. He's got
It's
crippling...
stage fright.
Yeah.
He gets over it really quickly, spoiler alert. If they spent less time being silly and more time reading music to make it realistic for me.
Well, come on. They're like 16-year-old, 35-year-olds.
Are they? No. We have figured out they're at least 17 based on like past context clues, and they're going to drag that the fuck out. But you can't do that when you have new school years. Otherwise, what does Mark come in here in the middle of the school year? Like some poor kid? Huh? A child of divorce, if you will?
What? Wait, well, okay. Also, I'm getting a little bit ahead, but I heard that he was from Chicago.
Oh, you heard a backstory? I missed it.
Well, it's not necessarily a backstory, but let's get to it. So they try and hatch this plan at the diner, and then ultimately what they end up settling on is we're gonna create a mock setup of that traumatizing event.
Yeah.
Where everyone behaves themselves and Sly behaves himself. And then maybe that will undo a decade of trauma and self-doubt.
Okay. Yeah.
So as I just want to show this too, so you can kind of see what they did. It was really kind of genius. It's like a reverse intervention. You know what I mean? They set up all these chairs. Everyone sits down. They make Sly.
It's like a spitting image to actual Carnegie Hall.
It looks just like
there.
Carnegie. Look at how tall those ceilings are. Like you could juggle for days.
It's true. They are tall.
There. Those are juggling ceilings. But so they do this, and he's like a little bit apprehensive to it, but they finally get him up there. And in the intro, they say child prodigy from Chicago. So maybe he did just move there randomly. But then
you think
how did
they?
How
he
did
just moved to Chicago.
Into,
they didn't say why he moved from Chicago, right?
But how did he run into Sly when they were kids if he's from Chicago?
Okay, so Carnegie Hall, famously not in Chicago. It is in New York City. So maybe he's so good that they flew him out.
I thought we were
Chicago.
talking about Carnegie Hall, Chicago. That's okay. That makes so much sense.
Wait, is there Carnegie Hall in Chicago?
No.
Yeah,
Carnegie Hall is in New York City,
so
iconic venue.
This fucking 11-year-old kid he's opening up for Shen Yun. That's what we're assuming is going to happen at Carnegie Hall, and they're gonna recreate this moment, right? So Jake gets up there, he acts all, snooty and whatever. So I lost where I was at.
The Shen Yun references money.
They're everywhere.
So he starts playing this rinky-dink song. I can't even remember what rinky-dink song he was playing.
It's the same one. It's the William Tell Overture.
But it's like he's not playing with confidence. When he was alone, before he knew they were listening to him play in the school's music room, it was like perfect. It was super elegant, relaxed. But as soon as he found out that they were looking at him, his own, he spazzed. So now that he's trying to play on the stage, that's why it sounds rinky-dink, because he's terrified, because the eyes are on him, right? And then, okay, there's a couple things I want to get into here. First of all, Sly, as a theoretically 17-year-old, 35-year-old, is tweaking in his chair because he can't help himself and needs to do the same thing he did.
It's straight up shaving a haircut, 2 bits. Like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's wearing this. I don't know if okay, Sly has some of the most ridiculous clothing on the show, but this was the 90s. I have a question for you. He's wearing a shirt that's like XL, you know? Do you think he did that because there's a part when he puts his shirt up to stop himself from acting out?
Yes.
But it's the 90s, and the box shirt, that was really the look.
No, I think it's so he has room to lift it over his head to show off his unnecessarily ripped abs.
So ripped for this 17-year-old. I don't know how old he is at this time, but like
I
he
understand
is cut from fucking marble.
We're trying to sell this show to children, right?
Any chance they get. Tony's ripped too, but like Sly is on another fucking level.
He's pretty ripped. I also think it's worth noting, if you look at the hot moments in this video, this is easily one of the big
most
spikes.
replayed.
Yeah,
and if somebody's hoping that he's 17 who is watching it, unfortunately. So
yikes. Anyways, so he loses his mind. He jumps on the stage. He embarrasses himself again, and he scares off Mark, who storms out.
Yeah, and then they go through this ridiculous thing where they're like, Sly, you don't understand. And then they give him this whole spiel just so he understands. It's such a waste of time to illustrate this to Sly. But Sly finally gets it. Finally. But yes, so we're going to jump back to the hallway. Can you bring that up really quick as far as a video? Sly has this jacket on. Yes, there.
See, but like, honestly, look, like that is so much more reasonable than anything he wore season 1 and 2.
That's not reasonable.
Why is that not reasonable?
It's not. It's a sluttier Miami Vice, because it's just it is just a tank top and then like linebacker pads on this huge fucking coat.
That was the style, and this is beach life, bro. Salt life, man.
Why are they back in school? Did they just ditch out on a class? Why, is this the next day?
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
whatever. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's the same time, just a parallel California Dreams dimension. That's how we can trust the continuity.
That's the only way they're going to fit these next 3 seasons into one school year.
That's now, honestly, the multiple timelines make a lot more sense now. I think we're onto something here.
So the other facet of what's going on right now is that Sly has backed out of playing this party, you know, because he's like, well, Mark's not going to join the band. We can't play the party. But Sheila already paid him. And so apparently
then
Sheila's boyfriend is just allowed to go to school.
The first 40-year-old actor that I've seen on this show
that isn't Mookie. Yeah.
That isn't Mookie is this guy. And like, he's not believable as, like, maybe he was the guy who was in college but dating somebody who was in high school.
That's how I read it. Was maybe. That he's
but
the,
then how
he's
did
the
he,
old because
well,
an older boyfriend who is dating a high school girl is probably the same person that will go in and threaten children on school grounds during school hours.
Physically harm children. Yeah.
And he really does not let up. You know, I thought there might be some kind of arc here where he's like, thanks for not letting me hit you, man. Like, I'm more of a pacifist anyway. Just do the right thing. But no, like, he really wants to fuck Sly up in this scenario.
Yeah, I'm just confused at what exactly happened from this moment. So basically, he's trying to apologize to Mark. And he says a real short, I'm sorry. Okay? And Mark doesn't believe it. And then this guy shows up and threatens to fight him. And then all of a sudden he has a come to Jesus moment and then turns around and gives Mark the heartfelt apology that he always deserved. What happened? What was the motivating?
Scenes. We don't.
I get it was confusing to me. I was like, oh, he's gonna get beat up now. Now he's pausing the fight
where they have at least alluded to, like, and it involved Mookie too. Like the first time we meet Mookie, Sly like goes out back and you hear like a tussle. I was like, oh, Sly is like literally getting assaulted by a motorcycle gang of old men at this point, and it's everybody laughs and they're like, oh, Sly, like classic, get yourself in all these schemes. But I'm like that, and then he's like in the hospital after that. Like he had, like somebody took a pipe wrench to his fucking kneecap. He is resilient.
Well, and to be honest with you, all the shady deals he's involved in, he probably deserved it, you know?
And you know what? I give it to him, because the next scene, we're at Sharky's. Sly has got the equipment back. So good on. He followed through with that, even though he lost it in the first place. So they're like, Mark, are you okay? There's a bunch of people here. And he's not okay because there's a bunch of people. Like, but this has got to be a time jump, because they're like, you know the songs, right? And he's like, no problem. I know the songs, you know.
No, Pete. He's a child prodigy that played at Carnegie Hall. He's got photographic memory. They just think about the songs and he knows them and can play them.
Okay. In his defense, California Dream songs are pretty easy. We learned a lot of them in season 1 and 2, and we're going to learn more of them now. And we're going to have to learn this new song. George, I could not find this song. I think it's called Take It Higher, which seems like a ripoff to me, Ghostbusters 2. But what struck me the most in this scenario, because I was going to try to look up the lyrics and I couldn't find them, but there's no count off, and we were always spoiled. Whenever Matt started a song, he would count off.
No, they counted it off.
No, I didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Who did?
Here, wait 1 second. Let me.
I think
Mark
here. Just started.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, who counted? Who counted it off? They do a 4 count? Okay, I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are you
Maybe
ready? Are you ready? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He said, let's do it?
Did you watch this episode?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Did you watch this episode?
I don't know if they did Let's Do It. Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Well, they did the count off. That's the whole point. They did the count off.
Okay. I'll pedal backwards. I miss Matt's count off. Okay, because Matt's count off was like, guess what? We're gonna count off in the wrong tempo, and I'm not even gonna wait for everybody to be ready. And I'll always
time. Yeah. Okay, so it's been written and it's been said, someone's always messing with your head. No one knows you. Hey, like you know yourself. Don't need to listen to everybody else. If all a different way, you got to go with your greatest strength. Yeah, when you sense intentions, I come from less than low. You got something that you can rise above. Take it higher, make it positive, take it higher. What you have to get, take it higher.
So who wrote this song?
Live, rise above, and go on.
Who wrote it? God damn it!
It feels like AI wrote that song. It's like an AI trying to wonder what the human experience is like.
What would you say to a prompt to like make this song? Give me an inspirational song that's pretty non-committal about being about any one thing other than
AI. Tell me how to generally improve my attitude and internal monologue, and I feel like that's a computer's interpretation of what a human should.
But who do you think in the band wrote the song? Because this is not. Do you think it's enough time for Mark to bring a song to the table?
Well, apparently Steve Tyrell wrote the song.
Well, of course, we love Steve Tyrell, and we'd love to get him on the podcast. But I'm saying in the band context, is this like Matt's parting song, do you think?
No.
Okay, all right. Well,
it's Mark's.
No, they don't have time. They didn't ask. Hey, artist. They would have made it a thing.
Tortured artist.
The first time Jake was in,
after
they
notebook.
called it Jake's song because it was something he wrote. We're going to see.
Yeah, but now Mark has really made it his own.
Okay. So, I noticed that people were clapping on the 1 and the 3. That's cool. Bunch of white people in the audience.
Okay, yeah. First of all, a couple things here. The pantomimed guitar solo was mid.
But we got to talk about both guitar solos. Let's start at the beginning. They count it off. Mark is very tepid, very reticent, very hesitant about playing, and then he just gets into it like right away. There's not much to do. It kind of reminded me of Bohemian Rhapsody, that really shitty Queen movie, where it was like the only obstacle that this band ever faced was like how Freddie Mercury could hold the microphone, and then the microphone broke, and he's like, "I got this." And then literally the rest of the movie is about them kicking ass. That movie was fucking awful. Fight me. And but I noticed, because Mark finally gets into it, and then he gets up, he grabs the mic and runs off. And I was like, wait a minute, there's still a fucking keyboard playing. But then I realized,
playing the keyboard?
There's two keyboards. They're like,
no.
There's like a dueling piano band.
What is this?
At this point?
Slipknot?
Fucking.
Oh my God.
There's three keyboards because Mark's playing a double decker.
That is such overkill.
There. Get Jake a guitar, because I'm sick of like not having enough ivory in this band.
This band is really just becoming pianos. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, this is like Donald and Daffy fighting each other, basically. So he jumps off. The dinky keyboard solo keeps going. The first guitar solo, like I wanted to talk about, because like Jake you could tell J. Anthony Frankie did not know what the hell to do with this thing, because it was just like, it was like that. And we can't play the music. We don't want to get copyright stricken, but like, it's ridiculous. The second guitar solo actually fucking kind of shreds. It's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah. The pantomime was just mid.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. We're going to give out some awards because it's the third season and George hates it. So we got to bring that back. Just who do you think mimed it the best? But I don't know, like the song was like very of the time. It was kind of, it was cheesy, but it was fun and it was kind of catchy. I haven't been able to find that song on any of the comp releases from this show. So I don't know if they like continue with it, but anyway, that's kind of the tale. Like Mark, I guess, is now a part of this band. And this is the same way that Jake joined, where they were like, hey, do you want to be in the band? Like, you got to get up on stage and basically prove your worth to be in the band. But we really don't have any other people auditioning.
He was such a talent, they couldn't even keep him on the stage.
Yeah. And he got to forgive Sly in the process, thus Sly becoming Unforgiven.
He might have forgiven him, but the episode's title is Unforgiven.
The Unforgiven. But he won't forget. Now, do you think that...
exactly what I'm saying.
Do you think that there's some unhinged Tiffany energy in Mark?
I mean, look, dude. We already got one unhinged... We already got one unhinged member of this band. Statistically, there's got to be there's like 7 people in this band.
There's a lot of keyboards in this band.
There are way too many keyboards.
There's a lot of keyboards
that just play themselves.
2-tier.
Supposedly,
he
doesn't even touch.
He doesn't even touch the bottom tier keyboard. Both of his hands are on the top tier.
I
have the top tier.
They're one tiny Casio away from being a prog band.
James.
I guess, yeah. The lower tier keyboard is playing itself, right? That's how he can walk away.
He's got a saloon piano there too. That's what you're saying to me.
Why not? He's a showman. He's a showman, Pete.
All good for a first run to see if he can play in front of an audience again. I'm glad they didn't waste time testing that out.
But Sly's gonna fuck it up in some other way, and then it's gonna be like, I knew you didn't fucking change.
Yes, certainly. And how are they gonna top a 10-year vendetta? How are they gonna? What is the new crazy thing? Like, how are they gonna jump the shark on this? Like, if Sly somehow made a deal with like the USSR and like sold a dirty bomb, and if they don't play, like, then the bomb's going to detonate. How are they going to do this?
Sly would book the show where they play for some warlord, like some 100%. Fucking genocidal sheikh over there.
So it's not off the table. Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay.
Feel like Billy Joel playing in front of the Iron Curtain.
Exactly.
Yeah, but at least he was like, fuck the Iron Curtain. You know, I want to play for these people. Whereas I remember somebody told me a story the other day, like when Seal went over and played for some like fucking warlord. And they're like, hey, how could you do that? And he's like, because fuck you, money. That's why. He's like walked out of the interview. And I'm like, okay.
That's why most artists do it. Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show you guys were talking about William Jones's shirt, and the shirt that you were referencing you referred to them as pills. I'm just trying to
Did you find the shirt?
I did not find the shirt, but I do know something about the shirt. Let me just share my screen real quick.
Jelly beans. They're their party balloons.
It's suspect shirt. It says something like Smart Justice was the brand name.
Okay, but me trying to share the screen is a nightmare. Anyway, the shirt, it's got parties on it.
Drop the link
it's
in
got
chat.
those little like waxy
drop the link.
discs kind of thing.
I'm very curious what this looks like.
So, you know the candy Smarties here as like that chalky little disc kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Or
That's what they
Frizzlers
are
if
in
you
the-
liked the other version.
That's what they are in the U.S. and in Canada, they look like his shirt. It's like a flatter end.
So
So
that's a
Parties is a play
Canadian
on
candy.
Smarties. It's like a Canadian or European candy. It's a Nestle candy.
Okay, that's okay, but I believe you. But the thing on the side of his shirt, it says Smart Suspect. I don't know if that's the clothing brand or what.
Yeah, I
Just
don't know
looking
what.
But that brand is not, they have no web presence here in 2025. Just
Yeah.
so you know. Well, thank you for that somewhat inconclusive detective work, George.
Yeah, wish I could
Might
share
be
my
a candy
screen.
I
in
think
Canada.
the Canadian connection to me should
Oh, that's true. James was the first to bring this up, that this show feels secretly Canadian.
just
It does.
Maybe
saying.
this is another
Just
puzzle piece. This is
saying.
another Pizzagate.
I
Big
wasn't.
conspiracy.
Not quite, but yeah, sure.
I
Not
know that
quite
it was shot in
Pizzagate, but-
NBC
It's a party
Studios.
gate. That's what this is.
I just had a question though while I was watching this. Who here had a bowl cut? Because Mark does have like a bowl cut.
Definitely. Hands.
I definitely had
hand
a bowl
raised.
cut
Yeah,
though.
Yeah,
come on.
I had a butt cut, and
we
it was
were
yeah.
alive in the 90s. Of course we had.
I didn't have. Did you have it the full way around? Because I had the butt cut where it was parted in the middle.
I had it the full way around. Yeah.
I'm
Damn.
pretty sure mine was a butt cut.
Okay. Interesting. George brought this up earlier. Tiffany and Jake are still broken up, but nobody has brought this up for the entire episode. I
Not
think
mentioned at all.
they're gonna be back together when the plot calls for it,
Yeah,
and
and-
nothing will be told about that infamous prom.
And the other thing too is that it was mentioned that Jenny had been living in the loft with Lorena for a month. So that means Sly had to miscalculate the rent on the equipment or the rent on the practice space for 1 month.
At least, like, usually you get to be delinquent for 3 or 4 months before
Right.
they steal
So
your shit.
how did he screw up rent for 1 month?
I mean, that means that they were playing shows and paying $500 a month, which is a lot of money.
No, they
Back
weren't.
then.
They were in the garage.
No, but they lost the garage when Garrison left.
Right. And in that 1 month, they had one space
Right.
that they didn't pay any
Right.
money on.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, he miscalculated rent in total.
Right. So, James, real quick, let's give out some awards. Who do you think mimed the best? That is going to be the Tony Award. Who mimed the worst? That's going to be the Jenny Award. And who would you want to be in a band with in this episode? That's the Tiffy.
Well, I definitely want to be in a band with Tiffany because she's gonna have a meltdown at some point. Like she's the kind of unhinged energy that is the spice of life.
It's interesting, sidebar, that you say that because she sounded sick as a fucking dog in this episode and they still made her work. And she still showed up. She has like laryngitis or something.
She's gonna break.
And they did not come
Okay.
up with any like clever way to weave that into the story at all. Like every
No,
other
yeah,
90s
they're
TV
just
show
like
always
deal with
did.
it.
Or she could have been like, I was yelling at a shark or something in the water all day. My throat is like literally anything. Okay, so who mimed it the best? Because we saw Jake not doing great. He's usually a front runner for this, but Tony is.
This is an easy answer. It is definitely Mark because his vocals are done by Zachary Throne. He does not do his own vocals in this.
Well, so you're saying he's the worst miming? Or
No,
the best. You're saying
No,
the best.
he was the best, and he's
I-
not. He's
you
not miming to his own voice.
I think he
is
knows
what
how to
he's
play
saying.
piano because, like,
No.
at
No,
least like
100% no.
no, not at all. Because
Yeah.
when he's in the school, you can see his left pinky
Yeah.
sticking out from the side of the piano
no.
box.
that
he's-
sometimes
he's not
happens,
playing.
George. You don't always use your pinky when you're playing piano.
It doesn't.
You don't, but you don't always keep your hand on the left side of the piano either.
If you're playing only bass lines, you do. Asswipe.
Not if you're playing what blues walkabout thing did he do? It was like
The boogie woogie. Yeah. So what? That's the worst mime. Who did the best mime then? Who gets the Tony Award?
No, Mark did the best mime.
Sorry. So who gets the worst? Then that would be the Jenny Award, even though she's no longer with us.
Well, her legacy lives on. I think that one goes to Jake. Yeah, that guitar solo was just mid for me.
That middle one was.
There were like moments where it was like, okay, that's kind of believable, but then there was a bunch that was like, no.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Tony, it's unfair because Tony always, every shot I've ever seen of him playing the drums, he can be playing the drums. He's on beat.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
It's believable. I know he's not playing them, but what he's doing is believable.
Oh, James, you don't know this, but the actor that plays Tony,
William James
Jones.
Yeah.
William James Jones.
Dr.
Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Edward James almost. He liked one of our reels that I made. And it was one kind of featuring him doing a silly little dance. So I'm like,
well, honestly, he is the glue that binds that entire show together. Like he
was
gets
there from day one.
He gets most of he's OG. He's been there since the first. His jokes are always some of the best in every episode, and his physical humor is always on point.
And I think they're going to give, like, going forward, they're going to give the stupidest subplots to Sly because he'll do anything. Whereas Tony's got some nuance, and I'm excited for them to play a little more with that now that we have some roles to fill.
That makes me also just want to bring this up really quickly. Season 2, episode 18, when they're at the prom.
Yes.
Tony's interaction with his date is hilarious. And then swapping dates, that was also hilarious.
Love that they're swingers in that episode.
Yeah, exactly. Even at that young age. But that was like another one where I was like, there's a whole bit. Tony sold it. He's really keeping this fucking show moving. He's keeping the train moving.
Yep.
He's just reliable.
Absolutely.
Consistent.
Yes.
Not like these other jokers.
Can you just take a day off from your doctor job and come on this podcast where we can just give you endless praise? I don't understand.
We don't even need to talk about, we don't need to interview him. We can just praise him for his work.
Well, we said we wanted to, because he's a psychologist now, right? Like we want him to give a full medical workup on the character of Sly and what a sociopath he is. So we'd have to book him though at like $300 an hour. So we're prepared to do that. If anybody would want to help us out, I don't even know if we have a Patreon anymore, but support the show and we'll get him on here. Okay. Anyway,
we need to pay for therapy. Yeah, we need to pay for therapy. So please support the show. We need to pay for therapy.
Dr. William James Jones is the chair and an assistant professor in the clinical psychology program at the Pacifica Graduate Institute.
It's a fucking mouthful, George. Thank you so much. And thank you, James. That's going to do it for the first episode of the third season of California Dreams and the first episode of the third season of Surf Dudes with Attitude. Like, we're back in it. We're going to be doing more side projects this year or this season. And, we're going to delve as far deep into this California Dreams world as they'll let us. So tweet if you still use that shitty program at them, these people that played these characters, get them to talk about our show. Let's make some love happen. Yes,
harass them. Harass the people that made this show.
They love
that maybe they'll engage with this show.
Anyway,
they don't want us to be talking about this shit.
It's been so nice to see you two again, and I'm excited to do more of these. It's really good to be back. And I guess James, George, do you want to try to see if James can guess what the next episode is? Do we want to continue this game?
Yes. Yes, I do want to continue this game.
This is one of the few original things that we do on this show, James, if you remember. We're going to tell you the name of the next episode, and you're going to tell us what the plot is going to be.
Okay.
Just based on the context clues.
The title of the next episode that I am not searching for on the fly right now.
Oh my God, I got it. It's called
Follow Your Dreams.
You got to get specific with the names.
Damn it. I'm going to say Sly got the, lead on this one. So I'm going to say Jake is going to pursue his lifelong dream of becoming a McDonald's ice cream machine repairman.
Dude, you're like 50% there.
You got pretty close.
You did way better than anybody else has done this before.
George, what is the next episode about?
An aptitude test suggesting Jake would be a better florist than musician is the final blow to his ego, following a streak of self-doubt about his own talent. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang explores their potential future careers, and Sly explores his options with Lorena.
Okay. A couple things real quick. This
Fair
seems like
face hitting on Lorena?
Yeah, well, this also seems like we're going to see some fucking stupid fantasy sequences again, which is going to be happening more and more with this show. But it is going to touch on the imposter syndrome and self-doubt that every musician has. So maybe there's going to be some music in the next episode.
There's music in every episode.
No, not really.
It's going to be less and less. That's what we didn't tell you before you joined the show.
There was music in every episode in the first season.
Yeah. There's definitely more of a thing, but you can only do so many Battle of the Bands.
You know, this wouldn't have happened if this was a Severance podcast, you know.
That's true. I think Severance talks about music more than we will.
I mean, it could be a Severance podcast.
I love Brian Cox in Severance. I think he was fantastic.
The wrong show.
Completely wrong show. You're talking about Game of Thrones.
That's it. Right. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at Surf Dudes with Attitude. Thank you, James. Thank you, George. We'll be back next week with season 3, episode 2, called Follow Your Dreams. And until next time,
let's do it.
But drive carefully. Thank you.
This has been a Waning Moon production.